Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whichever this finds you. I hope it's a magical day, any way you slice it. We are here, we as in me and Mr. Eli.
Hey guys.
That's right, you better say hi. We are here to do another magical preschool story time for you. And today's poem is going to be about the Firebird.
Whoa.
Yes. So, without further ado, a very quick poem. Who will bring me golden apples? Calls the Firebird from her silver tree. Who will sing me a golden song? All day she waits in the Tsar's garden. Who will set me free? Who? If given a feather bright as heaven, would you? I don't know, Eli, what do you think? Would you set the Firebird free?
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Sounds good.
Yeah, totes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Moving on to another magical creature and an actual book. We're going to read about a dragon who was terrible. This book is called Dragon Was Terrible, fittingly enough.
Mm-hmm.
All right. By DiPucchio. Are we ready?
Oh yes.
Okay. Dragon was terrible. Naturally, dragons have a bit of terrible in them because they're dragons, after all. But this dragon here, super terrible. He stomped on the flowers, he played tricks on the guards, and he spit on cupcakes. Who does that? Dragon. That's who. But that's not all. He scribbled in books, he threw sand, and he took candy from baby unicorns. Honestly, that's terrible. The king had had enough. Enough, he said. And he posted this sign. It said, "Brave knights, whoever shall tame the terrible dragon shall be rewarded with a gift. It shall be a nice gift, and you shall like it." Seems fair.
Mm-hmm.
And so the knights lined up to show off their dragon taming skills. And they all failed. Miserably. And Dragon just grew more and more terrible. Dragon. He chased fuzzy yellow ducklings around the moat. He TP'd the castle. And he burned every last royal marshmallow to a blackened crisp. Some folks like their marshmallows burned to a crisp, but that's not for everybody. And you should ask first. The villagers had had enough. Enough, they said. And they posted this sign. It said, "Brave people, whoever shall tame the terrible dragon shall be rewarded with a gift from the king. It shall be a nice gift, we hope, and you shall like it, perhaps." And so ordinary blokes and lassies lined up to try their hand at taming the dragon. And they all failed. Embarrassingly so. And just when you thought it wasn't possible, Dragon grew even more terrible. He popped birthday balloons. He drew funny faces on the drawbridge. And he burped in church. Loudly. Honestly, that's terrible and rude. But a boy wearing a feathered cap and a look of determination had had enough. Only he didn't say enough like you thought he would. Instead, he sketched a story. And the next day, Dragon followed a trail of marshmallows to a shady tree where the boy was reading. The boy spied the dragon out of the corner of his eye and began to read aloud in a booming voice. He said, "And then the brave dragon swooped in to save the princess," he said. And the dragon stopped in his tracks. But the terrible knight pulled out his wicked sword. Dragon pretended not to listen. The brave dragon roared, and the fraidy cat knight trembled in his boots. Dragon pretended to walk away. A crowd began to gather, and Dragon took cover in a tree. The boy continued reading, page after page after page, until... snap and crash! Dragon landed on the ground with a terrible thud. The crowd gasped. The dragon roared! The clever boy didn't flinch. He reached out a hand to the dragon and said, "Would you like to hear how the story ends, Mr. Dragon?" And just when you thought it wasn't possible, Dragon smiled. And he took a seat beneath the tree with other children. Honestly, that's adorable.
Oh.
The king cheered. The villagers cheered. The baby unicorn and fuzzy ducklings cheered the loudest of all. At long last, the terrible dragon had been tamed. The end. A burp in church, right, Eli?
Never, Dave.
Can we handle one more?
I guess.
It's called The Wizard. And this one's just a little bit spookier, but I gotta tell you, beautifully, beautifully illustrated. You ready? All right. The wizard, watchful, waits alone within his tower of cold gray stone, and ponders in his wicked way what evil deeds he'll do this day. He's tall and thin, with wrinkled skin. A tangled beard hangs from his chin. His cheeks are gaunt, his eyes deep set. He scarcely eats, he needs no sleep. He spies a bullfrog by the door, and stooping, scoops it up off of the floor. He flicks his wand, and the frog's a flea, through elemental sorcery, you see. The flea hops once, the flea hops twice. The flea becomes a pair of mice that dive into a bubbling brew. And emerging as one cockatoo. The wizard laughs a hollow laugh. Ha 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 ha. The soaking bird's reduced by half. And when perplexed it starts to squawk, the wizard turns it into a piece of chalk. With which he deftly writes a spell that makes the chalk a silver bell, which tinkles in the ashen air until flash, a fire burns brightly there. He gestures with an ancient knack to try to bring the bullfrog back. Another flash, no flame now burns as once again the frog returns. And when it bounds about in fear, the wizard shouts, "Begone from here!" And midway through a frightened croak, it vanishes in clouds of smoke. Oh, wizard, he's a rascal. The wizard smirks a fiendish smirk, reflecting on the woes he'll work, as he consults a dusty text and checks which hex he'll conjure next. He may pluck someone off the spot and turn him into who knows what. Should you encounter a toad or a lizard, look closely. It may be the work of a wizard. That's all the time we got for today, folks. We hope you're staying well. We hope you're staying safe. We miss you very much. and we'll see you next time.